Today, Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas admitted to accepting luxury vacations from Republican mega donor Harlan Crow, gifts that were first uncovered last year by ProPublica. In his financial disclosure forms released today, Thomas noted that he had inadvertently omitted two previous trips that Crow bought for Thomas, a yacht trip in Bali, which may have cost more than $500,000, and a trip to the secret men's-only club, the Bohemian Grove in California. Now, Thomas still failed to disclose several other Crow-sponsored trips to Bohemian Grove, along with private jet flights and other gifts. But Thomas is acknowledging the extremely valuable gifts from conservative donors at precisely the moment that the court is advancing an extremely conservative agenda. In 2 years alone, this court has overturned Roe v. Wade, it has gutted race-based affirmative action, and it has delivered more blows to voting rights. Meanwhile, the Conservative Project is advancing in schools where education around LGBTQ issues has been censored. History lessons are now policed by so-called parental rights movements, and book bans seek to limit what conservatives perceive as a liberal worldview. One book in particular has been the subject of a ton of conservative anger. It is called The 1619 Project by Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist Nikole Hannah-Jones. Joining me now here is Nikole Hannah-Jones, author and creator of The 1619 Project, which is out now this week in paperback. Also joining us is Dahlia Lithwick, senior editor at Slate, writing about the courts and the law. It's so great to have you guys here to put all of this in context. First, I got to ask, Nikole, just as you look at the project of the court and how it mirrors what conservatives are doing on a political level, does any of it surprise you?
I think that we can both be, appalled, not necessarily surprised because of everything that we have learned about this court over the last few years, but we can still be shocked by things that are not necessarily surprising. We know that trust in the Supreme Court is at a historic low. I think what's probably most surprising is even people who thought we had a good understanding of how government works and of civics. I'm surprised that there's really seems to be no enforcement mechanism against what we're seeing happening on the court.
Yeah, Dahlia, it's the flouting of any kind of oversight and almost the sort of celebration of the impunity is, I think, that is something that makes certain people, including a lot of people I know, incandescent with rage, right? I mean, the idea that Clarence Thomas is coming clean and inadvertently forgot that he had received maybe $500,000 in gifts from Harlan Crow seems like, I mean, so implausible as if to be, in some ways, almost useless as an excuse.
Right. I mean, if one were caught out by ProPublica, and maybe we should just pause to say that ProPublica might be the only functioning branch of government at this moment. Its work has been astounding, and we should lift it up. But if you were caught out by ProPublica taking huge, these lavish gifts, a loan that we have no idea the terms of to buy a luxury RV that cruises around the country. Your mom's house is paid for by Harlan Crow. Your grandnephew's tuition is covered. I mean, all of this is meticulously laid out over the past year by the really industrious reporting of investigative reporters. And then you get this kind of back of the envelope, like, oops, filing today. Here's two things in 2019 I should have disclosed. And as you say, not all of the Bohemian Grove trips, not even close to all of the luxury yacht trips he's taken. It's almost as though it's like, I'm just going to throw you this little bone and disclose a couple things, and then I'm going to use this language he keeps using, inadvertently omitted. In 2023, he inadvertently failed to realize. In 2021, it was a misunderstanding of filing instructions, right? People go to the death chamber for inadvertently failing to do their documents correctly. And he's just like, oopsie, here's a couple, I'll throw you this bone. It's the absolute materialization of what it looks like to have complete immunity.
Yeah, well, and it also looks like corruption when you look at what Clarence Thomas has been saying on really in terms of advancing the conservative rollback of basic liberties and freedoms that we've effectively taken for granted for the last half century, Nikole. I mean, this is a man that this term of the court suggested that Brown v. Board of Education had been overused effectively, and I'm paraphrasing here, who's helped dismantle women's bodily autonomy, affirmative action, voting rights. I mean, does the appetite for does the appetite of conservatives in this moment at all surprise you, and the willingness of someone like Clarence Thomas, who himself is a black man, to reverse our progress on race that there is? Does any of that come as a surprise to you?
I think that Clarence Thomas has been, and unfortunately looks like will continue to be, the perfect vessel, right? I mean, Clarence Thomas replaces Thurgood Marshall in the Supreme Court, which is the biggest insult to Thurgood Marshall and his legacy that I could possibly imagine. And so when you look at what he offers, is he is a black man. So when he rules against trying to stop the racial gerrymandering in South Carolina, when he overturns, votes to overturn affirmative action, and then evokes what is considered the greatest Supreme Court ruling in the history of the United States, Brown v. Board of Education, as going too far, then what it does is or what they like to pretend it does, is it doesn't allow us to say that these are racial rulings, right? Because he's a black man. So when you combine that then with understanding what looks to be corrupt activity, looks to be like American oligarchy has really bought court decisions from the same justice that doesn't seem to care about originalism when it comes to the 14th Amendment, but uses originalism
when
convenient, that we should be appalled. But I've come to kind of think of Clarence Thomas and others on the court as kind of like the Atlanta Housewives, right? Who's going to check me, boo? Like, I can do this, right? We can do it. It doesn't matter that the Fourth Estate is exposing this and shining the light on what we're seeing, that there is a belief that it doesn't even matter. You can find out these things about us and there will be no consequence. So how are we supposed to, as Americans, have faith in this court, that the court is ruling based on the law, based on precedent, and not based on what very rich and powerful conservatives want them to rule?
Dahlia, Nicole makes such a good point about the sort of puppet-like nature, it seems, that conservatives like Harlan Crow have over these justices. I also just think, they are kind of like the Real Housewives of Atlanta in the sense that they think they can roll anybody. I mean, I'm struck by the fact that Sam Alito excuses away his insurrectionist flags by pointing at his wife and offering a sort of explanation about a dispute with a neighbor where the timetable doesn't check out. This is a judge from a court of law. They know how to make a sound argument in their own defense, and they're not even trying, in the same way that Thomas isn't even trying, to explain away millions of dollars in gifts that he never accounted for.
Well, I think in some sense, Alex, and this is the sort of dispiriting part, it's because we've trained them with our own complacency about this, right? We have signaled time and time again that, this seems kind of bad, but oh well, they're the monarchs and we're the serfs, and so we tolerate it. And I think, once the court, overturns Roe on the most bogus premise, right, and does so, scuppering years of precedent without explaining, once it does away with, centuries of understanding of the Second Amendment to put guns in the hands of everybody, once the court says, oh, you know what, we're gonna do away with the EPA's ability to function using an invented doctrine that has no roots in the Constitution or statutory interpretation. I mean, they've been doing this and doing this and doing this in tandem with these flagrant ethics violations, these flagrant sort of statements, public statements, right? When you're hoisting a flag, that's not a T-shirt, that's not a mug. This is a flagrant statement of disrespect, both for us, but also for the office itself. And our answer is to be like, oh, well, there's nothing we can do about it. And so I sort of want to flip the premise and say, how much more of this kind of conduct do we tolerate before we say we can't consistently live under a monarchy and think that this is freedom?